We have conducted a phase 3 trial looking at a novel agent called Cabozantinib, which is a dual VEGF receptor MET and XL inhibitor in a population of patients that progress on prior VEGF inhibitors. The control arm was everolimus in this trial, which is a drug approved many years ago and been a standard in advanced RCC patients, second line and later. And the choice for Cabozantinib is based on the fact that it does block the VEGF receptor as a backbone, but also block multiple other tyrosine kinases involved in mechanism of resistance, acquired resistance to VEGF inhibitors such as MET and XL. And the study in terms of primary endpoint was MET, showing a hazard ratio of 0.58 and a significant decrease and significant increase in the progression-free survival with Cabozantinib compared to everolimus. This was already published in 2015 in the New England Journal of Medicine and presented at ESMO. What we did here with the new research that followed is we updated overall survival. These are the final results for overall survival. Overall survival was a secondary, not a primary endpoint on METEOR trial, but it was powered, and it was a very important secondary endpoint, a gold standard in oncology, if you may think about it, overall survival. And actually, overall survival was met with almost 5 months prolongation with Cabozantinib over everolimus in survival. Response rate also were updated in the presentation and favored largely Cabozantinib. So we have a drug that actually prolong overall survival and also shows superior progression-free survival and response rate over a previously considered the standard drug in everolimus. What I would add is that the safety profile overall was not different from other TKIs we're used to, although the dose reduction with Cabozantinib were higher than with patients treated with everolimus. And folks have to be managing well the patient to keep them on treatment as much as possible without completely dropping. It's an art that we have tried to do well as much as possible with now 10 years experience with VEGF tyrosine kinase inhibitor and other tyrosine kinase inhibitor in renal cell carcinoma.
And just to clarify, this was for carcinoma patients who have been pre-treated?
Correct, correct. So these were patients that progressed at least on one line of therapy. Despite that, the trial enrolled also patients that progressed on 2 or more lines of therapy. There were no actually, there wasn't any limit on the number of prior therapy as long as patients were, exposed to 1 or more lines of therapy. In untreated patients, actually, there is a trial, a smaller trial, a randomized phase 2, that is a collaboration between the Alliance, the Cooperative Group Alliance in the United States, and CTEP, that we had a press release only in May last month, showed also Cabozantinib did improve progression-free survival, which was the primary endpoint of that trial called Cabozan over a standard first-line therapy being sunitinib. However, this hasn't been presented yet, but will be at a later meeting. So it's possible that Cabozantinib, based on the strong biologic background and rationale, becomes not just a second-line or later treatment, but potentially a first-line treatment. And this is exciting times for kidney cancer, exciting times for kidney cancer patients. We are making improvements.
Could you just tell us a bit more about the team who are working on this trial? Because it seems like they've come from all over the world.
Correct. METEOR was an international clinical trial sponsored by Exelixis, was the sponsor, but it accrued all over the world. There was patients accrued in the United States, Canada, in Europe, and in multiple other countries. So it's an international collaboration. There will be abstracts presented at some point looking at different patterns and response and activity according to countries and areas. That is also one of the things that are planned, and we would look at the geographic variation, both in baseline characteristic as well as in activity on this trial.